What's up, y'all? This is T-Double, Terrany Johnson, artist, producer, artist advocate, the hometown kid born and raised in Austin, Texas. Music is my life. I've been making records professionally since I was 14. Mailed my first demo to Warner Brothers when I was 9. So I kind of knew early on what I wanted to do in life and just kind of stuck with it and had a supportive family who allowed me the opportunity to be creative. You know, my mother was a teacher. My dad was a janitor in a hospital, but he had tons of records and we lived behind a record store. So I guess God was kind of looking down and saying, go this way with whatever you're trying to do. And so, just got into listening to records and music and told my mom one Christmas I wanted a keyboard instead of a bicycle. Instead of a fire truck, instead of a football, I said, give me a keyboard. So she gave me a keyboard, and I started going to Sears at Hancock Center. Started recording my demos there. I would take my dad's blues tapes that he would record off KZI, and I would steal one of his tapes, go to the Hancock Center. I would go to the electronics department, put a tape into the boombox. I would go to the keyboard department, get one of the keyboards, bring it in front of the boombox, and press one of the presets. They had waltz, they had samba, they had all these different type of things. But when you press the preset and you hit a key, it gave you different chord changes. So that's how I cut my first demos doing that. So me and my mom we would go to Hancock Center every Sunday, and I'd probably record maybe 5 or 6 songs before we had to leave. So from those songs, I combined the demo, sent it to Warner Brothers, and from there it was on. They wrote me back, of course, and said, hey, thank you, but no thank you. Keep believing in yourself. I was a young kid, of course, so anything from a major label was like the shit. You know what I'm saying? It made you feel like, okay, they really paying attention. Even though the songs were kind of corny, some of them I was singing on at first before I started rapping, but it was just the initiative I took to mail those out. We didn't have a car, so me and my mom used to ride 3 buses to go to the post office to mail these demos. And, that's kind of how I started doing my whole thing from that point. I was like, okay, well, I can really do this music thing. And then, as I got older, I got around 14, I was in a program called Tribes. And Tribes was a program started by a woman named Jan Bozar. And she moved here from LA, and she worked in the music industry and all that. She would get at-risk youth, kids who are either dropping out of school or having trouble in school or just trying to find their way. Not even necessarily in trouble. I hate the at-risk title, but it was kind of kids trying to find their way. So I got into that program. And the whole purpose of Tribes was to build a community of young creatives, from painters, singers, rappers, whatever. So being in that course, we went and recorded an album. The city of Austin gave us our own Tribes Day. Remember, this is when I was 15, whatever. So I had my own day back then. And she would give us books as far as our course. And one of the books I was reading, it had a whole section on publishing. And I was like, damn, what's that? Because I knew I could rap, I knew I could make beats, I knew I could be creative, but I didn't know how to own it, right? I didn't know what I could do with all these songs I was creating. But when I learned about publishing, it was like a light bulb went in my head where I was like, I could really, make some money off this music without always, being on stage, like long-term revenue off this. So that's when that term hit me in my head. And, like I said, I was like 15 something. So I was thinking on that while other kids were running the street and trying to figure it out what they were trying to do. But my career is, it's very diverse and vast, where a lot of my stuff is multiple things happening at the same time, and I just happen to be prepared and blessed for those things to happen and take place. From working at South by Southwest, the same time I went to San Diego and got a record deal, to the same time I was at South by Southwest, I was working for Arista Records, doing marketing and A&R and all that type of stuff. So a lot of things are just crossing against each other. And, it's all about being prepared. It's all, knowing what you want to do. Once you figure out what you want to do, then it's up to you to make it happen and stay focused with it and do what you need to do, whether it's recording tons of music catalogs, or it's writing books, or it's writing songs, or it's, creating instrumentals. It's up to you to be the engine that pushes all that ahead.